Hi, this is Mark Frechette from Georgetown County School District, and I wanted to show you a great feature inside of YouTube Studio, the video editor, which is going to allow me to go ahead and blur out part of my YouTube video. In this case, my video has actually been published already, and we're going to pretend that someone might have notified me and said, hey, there's a section that you want to blur out. So in this video that I'm going to use, again, it's already been published. It's on YouTube, and I don't want to have to delete the video and then repost it. I just want to go in and make a quick change because at this point, the only other person that has watched the video may be someone that I have typically preview the videos just in case I missed it. So all I'm going to do is, now that it's in YouTube, and again, it's in my channel content and it's one of my videos, I'm going to click on the pencil right here, and then I'm going to come down to editor. Now, again, I said in this video, there's the video is fine itself. There's just actually, I end up using my cell phone to make a phone call in this, and I just want to go ahead and remove that cell phone information from the video, but have everything else in the video showing. So what I did is I watched the video and I wrote down there are 3 different parts that I want to add what's called a blur. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And then basically I'm just going to hit save, and all those changes will be updated on YouTube. So once I'm in the editor, if you look down here at the video, what I like to do is, this timeline is kind of small. So I like to come down here and I do like to zoom in on the timeline, and you can see it just grows the timeline. So once again, this would be 30 seconds. Whereas if I went like this, you can see now all of a sudden this is a minute. So I just like to have the zoom in on that. It makes it easier to, get to a certain section, I feel. And then if you look down here, here's the basic parts to go ahead and the basic components, I guess, rather, of the video editor. Well, I said today what I'm going to do is I'm going to add blurs. What's cool about this is when you add a blur, you can choose how long you want it in there for, so the duration. You can also choose maybe the shape or the size of the blur. So I know that in my video, at exactly right around 2:13, I would say, so 2 minutes and 13 seconds, I go ahead and I'm going to continue to kind of move this over without showing you my phone number. So right at about 2:13, you'll notice that this section comes up, and in a minute, I'm going to go ahead and put in my cell phone number. So I don't need everybody knowing my cell phone number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to add a blur, and I'm going to say I want to cover up this section. Well, not only do I want to cover up this section, but I also know that later my phone number appears here and then it appears down in this section. So I'm going to add in 3 blurs today. And the first one is going to take care of kind of this space up here, because I don't need people to see that. So I'm going to come down here to add a blur. I'm going to click the plus, and I'm going to do custom blur. So in my custom blur, you'll see it asks you what time of the video do you want to add this in. So I'm going to add mine in at 2:13. And then I'm going to have it go all the way. And actually, I think I can go to 2:14 just to give it a little bit more time. And I'm going to go from 2:14 all the way until 2:47. And again, none of this information up here is important where I'm going to have the blur. I like to go ahead. I'm going to use the rectangle for this one, and I'm actually going to fix the blur position. Sometimes you can track an object. However, I've noticed that when I do track an object, typically it's not moving around too much, but if it is moving around pretty fast, the blur kind of lags behind a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and fix this, and I'm just going to blur out a region here that I don't feel like people need to see. So you'll notice that down on the bottom in my blur, I now have this section right here. And it's saying, okay, so our blur is filling up this space. And I'm going to move this along so we can see. So my blur comes in right there. Now you'll notice it doesn't completely cover up what I need it to cover up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move this blur because I want it to go here, and we're going to blur it all the way in this area because my number kind of moves. It goes here and then it comes up here. So I'm going to blur out this whole section. So again, it's going to maintain this area and blur it out for that duration. And so again, if I kind of come up here, you'll see it goes from 214 to 347. So I can just hit play and you'll notice and call that phone number. You can see how the blur takes out that second part of the phone number. So that's how I did my first blur. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do another one because at 225 is where the number is going to appear down here. So what I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to come right down here and I'm going to add a blur. I'm going to do a custom blur again. And this time I said it's going to come in at 225. So I'm just going to enter that in, and it goes all the way until 256. So there's two blurs that I need to put in this area that happen at the same time. Or I should say there's two blurs in two different areas that I need to add. So again, I need to come down to where this is going to go. So I'm just going to scroll along until that second blur comes in. And that second blur is going to show up in two spots. It is going to show up, the phone number is going to show up right down here, right under my name. And so I'm going to go ahead and blur this area out because people don't need to see that. And then also it's going to happen right up here. And so I'm going to do another blur that's at the exact same time. So I'm going to come back down here. I'm going to hit, again, I want to make sure that this is a fixed blurred position. I don't want to track an object. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come back down here, and now I want to add a blur. That phone number is going to appear right here as well. So I'm going to come down. I'm going to click Add Blur. It'll ask me Custom Blur. And now I want to go ahead and make sure it's a fixed blurred position. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go 225. And I'm going to make that go until 256. Or thereabouts. Again, there's not really any information that people need to see inside of this time. So this is going to be my third blur, and you'll see it's right down here. So I'm going to move this guy until that blur comes in, and you'll see he's right here. So I'm just going to grab him and resize him. And I said that phone number appears right here under this name. So I'm going to put it right there. And now if we hit play, you'll see this will pop down and my blur will stay there. There it is. And my phone number is blocked. So these parts are all blurred out. People can no longer see my information, which is exactly what I wanted. And the rest of the video is fine. So once I'm all done with these blurs, you can see that I had all three in here. It's all set to go. I'm going to come right up here to save. It's going to give me a warning. It's going to say, hey, viewers will see the current version. And I'm not going to be able to make any other changes to the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit save. I've got this listed at private, so I'm okay with that. And then you're going to see the video is being processed. So what's great is I can still save the same YouTube video address that I wanted to share with people. It's going to change it on that page for me. I'm not going to have to delete the video and take it down if I didn't want to. I will add, if there was information on this and you posted it publicly, I would highly recommend taking it down first, then going back in and again, updating those changes, or changing it to private and changing it and again, just so it's not public. But again, good luck using the blur and YouTube Studio under Video Editor.